Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and welcome to a PTR development notes video. You guys seem to like these videos, and they're fairly easy to make, so I will keep making them where we just read through whatever the patch notes are of the PTR every single week and see what's going on. So 10.1.5 development notes. Druid is up first. We have a new talent that is, I believe, just on the class tree. Rising Light, Falling Night increases your damage and healing by 3% during the day, increases your versatility by 2% during the night, which is 2% damage, 1% damage reduction. The problem with the 2% damage on versatility is it's usually going to be a little bit worse than like 2% damage and healing would be because it's additive with the rest of your versatility, whereas this is usually going to be multiplicative with it. So if you were a class that has a lot of versatility, that might be you might be running into some slightly diminishing returns there. But this is an interesting effect. Usually, I think what they did with the Night Elf passive that was similar to this as well was that raids and dungeons were permanently set to one or the other, although I might be delivering fake news right now. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, a interesting little talent there. If this isn't permanently set to one or the other in instance content, then I don't really like that as much. Improved Sunfire's been moved, and Rising Light, Falling Night now occupies that previous location. Resto and Balanced Druids have had their starter builds updated. Feral has a new talent called Dire Fixation, which the developers note is a new talent that they can take to focus on single target damage. The changes to Rampant Ferocity allow its value to be tuned independent of Ferocious Bite's damage, which is Rampant Ferocity is the AoE cleave on your Ferocious Bites, which was a lot of the Feral Druid funnel was Ferocious Bite procs from your rip damage. Okay, so Dire Fixation says, attacking an enemy with Shred fixates your attention on it for 10 seconds. You can fixate a single target at once. Your attacks deal 5% increased damage to your fixated target. So 5% increased damage to whatever you're shredding, but not to other stuff. Primal Claws has been removed. Dire Fixation is in Primal Claw's previous location with 1 rank. And Rampant Ferocity has been redesigned. So Rampant Ferocity used to deal a percentage of Ferocious Bites damage to the other nearby enemies affected by your rip. And it looks like now they're making it just deal damage baked into the talent itself, which is going to let them scale that, again, independently of putting damage into Ferocious Bite itself. So that can make it... It means that they can scale separately the AoE part and the single target part of those Ferocious Bites and AoE, which that is a good lever for them to have access to, rather than having to like go in and change the percentage of Ferocious Bites damage that gets dealt by Rampant Ferocity if they need to buff it or nerf it. This also means that if you invest more into Ferocious Bite procs are still going to be good with Rampant Ferocity because they'll trigger it, but making Ferocious Bite itself deal more damage through Ferocious Bite enhancing talents or tier sets or whatever is not going to affect the Rampant Ferocity damage. So these are, I think, sensible changes that make some sense here. Restoration, 15% damage buff because Nature's Vigil's gone. I don't know if this makes up for, or I guess not gone, but Nature's Vigil's getting a big nerf that is also affecting Resto Druid, despite the fact that the nerf is aimed at it's aimed at the off-healing side of it, but it also hits the resto side of it. I think it's better to move some damage out of that particular effect, though, and into the rest of their kits. That's probably good, as long as it still ends up that they're not doing awful damage. Augmentation Evoker. This is a spec that obviously you don't know what all these abilities do yet, because you have, well, some of you maybe do if you've been following really closely with Augmentation Evoker, but they're doing some tuning with these different effects. They're reducing the amount of versatility that is granted from the Mastery Time Walker side of augmentation. So that's like some group buff versatility that they do. And Momentum Shift. So this is like a group-wide movement speed buff, I think, that now has its duration increased by Mastery. Interesting. And same with Essence Burst and Leaping Flames. Very interesting. I don't know enough about Evoker or about Augmentation yet to really know. Like, I still am kind of figuring out how the class actually fits together. I haven't looked at it enough. Okay, Mage. Mage is one of the major targets of changes in this patch already, if you haven't been following along. A lot of stuff's happening, stuff like Rune of Power going away. Fire here is having some changes here. It looks like Mostly nerfs to talents. Firemind, Feel the Burn. Searing Touch, however, is being buffed. Okay, that's a powerful... that's always been a nice thing. Whenever you're playing Fire Mage in progression rating, the Scorch phase of a lot of bosses is really important, and it's really nice to... that's one of the reasons that Fire has often overperformed its like sim, is because it's just really, really cozy in those enrage phases of fights that are all about like phase 3 or whatever. Which Sarkarath's actually not really a good example of that, because damage is just relevant the whole way through on Sarkarath, but a lot of end bosses historically, it's been much more important how the spec functions from 35 to 0 than from like 100 to 35. Wildfire here has also been nerfed. SKB has been nerfed. Hyperthermia will no longer trigger while combustion is active. The tooltip's been updated to reflect this change. So it looks like there's some nerfs here landing on Fire. Don't think of this as nerfs relative to the current version of Fire, though, because Fire, there's already been a lot of changes, and a lot of it looked really, really good for them over the past few weeks. So I'm actually not surprised that they're toning some stuff back here. Frost, Icy Veins has had its cooldown reduced and the size of its effect reduced as well. The Water Elemental that you summon with Icy Veins because now Water Elemental itself you don't summon it anymore, it gets summoned when you press Icy Veins. So that side of things actually gets better with Icy Veins being less powerful but less cooldown. And you can actually control it yourself again as well, rather than having it just be like a pet summon, which I guess means you can do like pet freeze thing, perhaps. There's some skill there. Winter's Blessing, haste has been increased to 8%, was 3%. Winter's Blessing was this effect that says you gain some haste and you gain increased haste from all sources, which is, I think, trying to make Frost like the haste mage spec. So interesting there. Thermal Void has been nerfed here, which lines up with the... So it looks like they want to make Icy Veins' default cooldown shorter and make it less about getting good Thermal Void cooldown reduction and duration, or like its duration increase on it. So this will probably, I imagine the goal here is to make it so that like good players Icy Veins uptime and bad players Icy Veins uptime, and like situations where you get grief versus situations where everything's going perfectly, they're kind of trying to bring the Icy Veins uptimes closer between those sorts of cases. Frozen Orbs had its radius and damage increased. Frostbolt's Brain Freeze proc chance has been nerfed. Coldest Snap has been slightly redesigned. Okay, this is cool. Coldest Snap was when they introduced this last week, it was going to be Cold Snap also resets the cooldown of your Frozen Orb and a bunch of other stuff, like some damage buttons. They've changed it now to Cone of Cold's cooldown has been increased, and it resets the cooldown of Frozen Orb, Comet Storm, and Blizzard. And in addition, it applies Winter's Chill to all enemies hit. Great. This is really great. So it's so much better to put this effect on Cone of Cold, which is admittedly somewhat defensive or situational, but it's not already an important, defensive cooldown like Cold Snap is. So now you can keep Cold Snap as a button that you press for double ice block, or that you press for double ice barrier, Frost Nova, whatever, like the kind of cool cases that you used it before, and you don't have to use it to get 2 Frozen Orbs or whatever. But instead, Cone of Cold now there is maybe something where if maybe you'll talent this and then use Cone of Cold every 45 seconds for an extra Frozen Orb or something. I don't know. Either way, I'm not a Frost Mage scientist, but I think this is a cooler direction to take this. Cooler. Snowstorm has been buffed. Oh, okay. It's been increased damage per stack, but nerfed max stacks. Interesting. Frozen Touch now grants Fingers of Frost more often, and grants Brain Freeze less often. Okay. So they want more Fingers of Frost and less Brain Freezes. Glacial Spikes had its cast time reduced and its damage increase. Okay. All right. Maybe that's back on the menu. Icicles reduces the damage of Icicles by 25%. I assume this means reduced the damage, like they've reduced the damage of Icicles by 25%. Oh, but now also increases the damage of Blizzard, Comet Storm, Ice Lance, Glacial Spike, and Ray of Frost. Interesting. Okay. That's a big change to how this mastery is going to function. And then Frozen Orbs damage from Icicles has been reduced to account for the newly added abilities that gain mastery scaling. Interesting. Okay. Holy Paladin. They've moved around some talents. They've changed Crusader's Might to a 1-point talent that grants 1.5 seconds of cooldown reduction. Relentless Inquisition is now a 1-point talent and can stack up to 5 times. Awestruck gives you extra crit healing on Holy Light, Holy Shock, and Flash of Light. Ooh. Don't know why those words Ended up twisting my tongue so much. Holy Infusion now shares a choice node with Awestruck. Glorious Dawn gives you 10% extra on Glimmer. Awakening now gives you 12 seconds of wings from 10. Fix an issue that caused relent. Okay, so fix some bugs. Less mana cost reduction bug. Okay. Affliction. Xavius's Gambit no longer increases the damage of Unstable Affliction's backlash damage, which I believe is the damage when you dispel it. Not an especially relevant thing for us player versus environment players, but maybe something for the player versus player players. Okay, we have some new items and reward stuff as well, which look like they are based on... Yeah, this is Dire Maul and Wailing Caverns recipes have been moved around, I guess, or maybe they've been re-added. Maybe these are patterns... These are like time-lost patterns or whatever that, you know, were out of the game for a while and are now back in these old places. And a couple of PvP changes as well. Some new UI stuff as well. Ooh, added a sell all junk button to vendors. That's really nice. That's a -1 add-on that we all need. Updated the repair and repair all button art. Added archaeology bar to the edit mode. Added width and height sliders to the chat frame. Added unit frame art for totems. Ooh, that's really nice as well. For that'll be nice for if totems are getting improved as well. Maybe that'll be really nice for like Brewmaster statue usage, which I know had some bugs with that before. Although maybe this is just changing the art. I don't know. And they've upgraded a cursor with high resolution art. So good changes here. This is actually, of all the patch notes we looked at today, it's very likely that the best one here is added a sell all junk button to vendors. But either way, a interesting set of changes coming here. I think the feral ones make a lot of sense, although, yeah, I think towns like Dire Fixation, I'm torn on these sorts of effects where it's like you mark one target and are dealing extra damage to them, but I think I can support this sort of thing being a way to kind of let AoE specs like Feral and Windwalker kind of have a target that's still their primary one. And that maybe means they can tune up the single target of these sorts of specs. Yeah? Tune up the single target of Feral and Windwalker. Make these talents not work in PvP if you have to, and then increase the coefficient on them. Just some ideas here. Just throwing out some ideas. Anyways, that is our look at the 10.1.5 PTR development notes here from June 6th. I will continue to make these videos for as long as you guys continue watching them. Let me know in the comments what you think of these changes. Let me know how you cannot believe that they haven't put any notes in this build for your spec and how doomed it is, and how there hasn't been any notes on your spec for 3 whole weeks now, and it's clear the developers have forgotten about you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.